This is the Parish church. Graveyard, of course. It's pretty old, I think 1,000 years. Probably not every stone that you're looking at, but the origins, the oldest parts. And apart from the traffic noise, it's lovely, isn't it? Sorry about me going on about the cars and traffic noise. And that's one of the famous towers in town. Also quite nice looking. Also origins 1,000 years ago. Hope that one day I have a tombstone like that. They're lovely, aren't they? 1841. Well, I don't think they do that anymore, do they? 1846. 1859. It's when people had a bit more money. Well, people with money had more money. People nowadays have money, but it's not very much money, really. I suppose these are cedars. They always talk about cedars in combination with graveyards, don't they? Cedars of Lebanon. And they grow quite big. The River Swale. And the castle, what's left of it. And a little bit of pleasant chirping in the background, no idea what it is. And this is actually the coast-to-coast path, and I think this is the most civilized part of it. It's not all like this, but obviously they've been taking care of it. And this is actually signposted, and in theory it shouldn't be signposted because it's not an official route. It's just something that was written about in a book by somebody 50 years ago who went from public footpath to public footpath, joined them all together and made a route of his own, but it's not an official route. And it's been like this all day, cloudy, but in the morning it was raining very, very heavily on the journey, so I'm glad that at least the rain stopped. And it's about 16, 17 degrees on the coast to coast. Remember, I'm not actually walking this. I take a taxi to Danby Wisk and then start walking from there. So this is a good view of Richmond. So the remnants of the castle up there. I suppose it's the keep, the big tower. A lot of it hidden by trees. And it's the river down there, of course. I'm walking across some pastures which, according to a sign up there, are being dedicated to grazing so that wildflowers will grow. And you can see they're just starting to come up, the yellows, the purples, the reds. So later on, with lots of sun, later in the summer, this will be glorious. And then up at the top of the hill, I think that end of town is French Gate, where I'm staying. Now if you see that, can you see on the horizon there a church with a flag flying over the top? It's not the UK flag, it's the English flag, the St George's Cross, red on white. My guest house is just next to that, so that's where I'm living. And there's a bird somewhere near me in the grass here, and I don't recognise the call. I don't see it either. That's the problem with birds at this time of the year. And up there is a burst of light in the sky. So I wonder if I'm going to see some blue sky shortly. The River Swale. And these are the rapids, but they're not very rapid, not very big, not very long. This is the old railway bridge, apparently, and it's even made of sleepers. Have I heard that expression before? These long wooden pieces of wood, planks, are called sleepers. I don't know why they're called sleepers. They don't look as if they're sleeping. Anyway, so this is the old railway, and they've turned it into a walking track, which is quite good. and that's the river in the other direction, and a couple of walkers. And the sun's starting to come out. It's in the wrong place. That should be west. That doesn't feel like west. Oops. Sorry, my thumb was in the way. Can you see the sun shining through? But it feels as if it's in the wrong place. I think I came into town through an unexpected angle, and for that reason I was expecting the sun to be somewhere else. The sun should be west at the moment because it's getting on to evening. And it's over to my left, which doesn't seem right somehow. Anyway, I'm sure the sun's right and I'm wrong. I think this bit is later than the actual Abbey. This is a working church, although it's not working at the moment. The government's closed all the churches, I believe, or at least the services. But that is part of the old Abbey. You can see it hasn't got a roof. They pulled the roof down or burnt it down or whatever, but this was obviously immune to fire. It's made of stone. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to go in or not, but let's see. Rather impressive, isn't it? It's amazing when you think these stones have been here for 1,000 years, and look at it, it's as solid as ever. And they built proper buildings in those days, didn't they? Let's have a look. And it's pretty big as well. And I have to tell you that I find something like this much more impressive than Rockefeller, Empire State, any of the big buildings in Dubai. Look at it, it's fabulous, isn't it? My goodness me. My goodness me. Well, I'm not going to climb up there. Not that agile anymore. Oh, this is an in and out by the looks of things. I haven't got very far here, have I? And look what we've got here, a lovely wildflower meadow. I don't know if it comes out on the camera, but lovely blues. I'm not sure what they are. Maybe you can try and identify them. This is completely filled with blues and intermittent whites with a yellow centre, which I think is an oxeye daisy. And then those sort of platforms of white, which, can you see the ones with platforms of white? Now, I once worked out they're one of three things. Wild carrot. I can't remember the other two names. I can never work out which of the three it was. Have a look at wild carrot. But anyway, oxeye daisy, and the blue ones, scabies. I don't know. Looks very pretty in the sunlight anyway. Garden like this, and a house like this. Look at that. It's a private house, I think. Yeah, well, of course it's a private house. It's lovely, isn't it?